All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mike Serra at the League of Municipalities. Thank you for joining us today. Everyone can hear me all right? Yeah, I'm getting some nods, that's good. So welcome to this our latest Lunch and Learn on annual financial disclosure, the statements. In April, local officials will be submitting their annual financial disclosure statements using the local finance board's online filing system. But first, municipal clerks must prepare and maintain the roster of local government officials required to file the FDS. This session is an opportunity to review that process and answer any questions you have. We're joined by Nick Bennett, who is the Executive Secretary of the Local Finance Board. Oh, Nick. And Cherie Serenin, who is the Administrative Analyst. I'd like to thank you both for being here. A few housekeeping rules before I hand it over to Nick. We are recording this, and it will be available for viewing later on in case you need to follow up with any questions. We're running it like a Zoom meeting, so I would ask that if you could keep yourselves muted, during the presentation. I think we're all familiar enough with Zoom calls, and every now and then somebody forgets they're not muted, and we kind of hear maybe more than we want to hear. So let's not have that happen here. So we'll try to address it as well. You can drop questions in the box. Paul Penna, the League's Director of Government Affairs, is monitoring the box, as will I. And we'll throw the questions at the end. And at given time, maybe we can even open it up at the end. So with that, I want to thank both Nick and Cherie, and of course, the whole team over at DCA and Local Government Services for their continued partnership to provide opportunities like this for local officials, and in this case, the clerks who have to sort of handle this filing. So with that, I am going to pass the baton to Nick. Good afternoon to you and to Cherie. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here today to make ourselves available to the local government entity reps and answer any questions about the process, about the individuals who may have to file, and provide general updates about the 2025 financial disclosure statement process. Just a quick bit of news on that end. Local Finance Notice 2025-07 has been cleared for distribution. It is on the DCA website at this time, and will be going out in an egg notice shortly. This is the notice that goes to the filers, and the board asks that as LGE reps, you share that 2025-07 with the local government officers who are filing. It helps them understand the system, or I should say it's designed to help them understand the system and get the forms filed, so that the communications that come from the board later on are not the notices of violation, but instead are just an appreciation for the work that has been put in. So that's kind of the first step here. I really do appreciate everyone who's on this call, partnering with the board in the enforcement of the 2025 FDS and prior FDSs. I know it is a little bit of a sometimes herding cats to get everybody to get their forms in by the deadlines and contact individuals and make sure the proper local government officers are represented on the rosters. And we really do appreciate the efforts that are put into it at the local level, and it couldn't be done without the local government entity reps. And also, before we kind of open it up to any questions, and Cherie can say hello as well. Just want to say that as the LGE reps, you guys are the certainly the go-between between the board and the local government officers who are filing. You may have more exposure to some of the individual concerns that filers have with our system. The electronic system that we currently use has been around for about 10 years now. We try to make some tweaks every year to improve the experience, but definitely at the board level are very open to suggestions that you may have and things you've come across that might improve the process for the roster building perspective and also the filer. So definitely want to, make sure everyone knows that our doors are open for suggestions and critiques at any time. Sheree, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Nick. I'm Cherie Saarinen, and many of you probably have already spoken to me at some point over the last year in regards to the FTS system. And of course, I am always, you can always reach out to me if you have any questions, regarding anything. If somebody should be on the roster, if they shouldn't, I will definitely take the time with you guys to make sure that your rosters are correct and that enforcement is as painless as possible.
Yeah. So the system is open for filers, or will be by the end of the afternoon for individuals who are listed on the roster to file. So it's important that rosters are built out and properly reflect the individuals who are currently serving the local units. I'm sure many of you are aware from the past, the statutory deadline to file the form is April 30th. The board has been undertaking its enforcement action, usually at its June meeting, to find violations and assess fines for any local government officer who is listed as active on a roster, who is not recorded as having filed, was not added to the roster in the last 30 days. Those individuals that are within the board's jurisdiction are issued a notice of violation, and in the past it has been a $100 fine. It is presumed, I suppose, that the board will follow the same enforcement action this year on the same time frame. So it is, with the difficulty that many local units are having in attracting candidates to serve in some of these positions, especially those volunteer positions. We want to make sure that the individuals who receive the notice of violation are those who properly not deserve them, but properly fit that category of being required to file but having missed the deadline. So any questions that you may have about who should or should not be on the roster, please share them with us and we'll be happy to walk through it, or other questions about the system too. And I don't know if the best way would be to unmute or to put it in the chat, whichever works best for you guys.
You could drop the question in the chat box, or if you want to just unmute yourself, go right ahead.
It looks like the
Could have been
question
that your opening comments were so thorough that here we go. Here we go. There is a question, Cat Paul.
So there are a couple questions that have come in. The first is, I am the person who sends out all of the notifications. Do I need to be on the roster?
If you are serving in one of those titles, so the guiding document that we have here is Local Finance Notice 2025-04. And that document, which is posted to the board's website, reflects the positions that were outlined in the board's regs. I will not, bore anybody with the exact site, but there are, 33 different titles set forth in that in the rule of people who are required to file the local finance notice under the third category in the law. So if you serve in the position where you're distributing the notices, depending on what your actual title is, you may need to be on the roster. Clerks are the most frequent titles that we see as individuals who are distributing those notices. So making a couple assumptions here, I would say yes, you should be on the roster. But if you're in some other role in a clerk's office, then that would not necessarily be the case.
Great, thank you, Nick. The next question, do members of a low and moderate income oversight committee, affordable housing, need to file an FDS? And also, I did just post local finance notice 2025-04 in the chat, the link for folks to access.
I do not believe, and Shri is very much going to correct me if I'm misinterpreting this, but I don't believe that affordable housing committees are required to file as on that list of folks. Rent leveling board members do, but not the. I don't believe the affordable housing committee members have to.
You're right.
Great, thank you. Will the local finance notice be distributed today? I believe that references to 07.
Yes. As long as technology remains on our side throughout all of this. But it should go out in the egg notice. If it is posted on, like I said, on the within the directory of local finance notices. But we want to get that out in the egg notice today.
Great, thank you. Next, does the LGO or LGE enter the LGO email address into the roster?
Sure, you want to take this one?
Sure. So no, your only responsibility is to add them to the roster and issue a PIN. Once that PIN has been issued, they'll take it to their account, register with their first name and last name and the PIN, and they'll validate the PIN. And then it will ask them to tie an email address to the account, and that's how the email address gets there.
Yep, that's all work by the local government officer. So, but it is important that when sharing the PIN number with the local government officer, that they also have how their name is entered on the roster, because it does have to match up completely. So sometimes we see situations where somebody might go by Mike, but they're entered on the roster as Michael. And if they're using the shortened version of their name, it won't click and will not allow the PIN to be validated. So that's a troubleshooting matter that we've come across in the past.
And just to extend upon that a little bit, middle names also seem to be a little bit of a hot spot. Some people use middle names, and if they don't know that you've used the middle name to enter them on the roster, it's going to come up as an invalid PIN.
Great, thank you for that information. Next question. If I am an acting purchasing agent that is the temporary QPA until I receive the official QPA title, will I need to be on the roster and file?
In this situation where you're performing the duties of an individual who would be full-time in that capacity, I would say that you should be identified as the person who is serving in that capacity on the roster.
Great, thank you. Next question. If a position has a deputy, such as chief of police, emergency management coordinator, or municipal clerk, does the deputy have to file? They're not on the list, but I just want to make sure that it would say deputy if required.
It would say deputy, but I would carve out a little bit. If there was a situation where, in the example of the chief of police, where the deputy is performing the duties of the chief due to some sort of absence on the part of the chief, then that might be a situation where we would suggest the local government entity rep consult with the municipal attorney. And if they're taking on those duties in a significant way, that might be a time where the deputy would be listed on the roster.
Great, thank you. Next question, would Police Athletic League Board of Director members need to file?
I can't foresee a situation where they would. There may be a very unique situation in that municipality where they're serving as like the recreation committee, as members of the recreation committee, but on its face, my answer would be no to that question. Sheree, what are your thoughts?
I would agree the same thing, unless it fits in the four categories of, the LFN or specifically the title. I would say that no, that I have not come across an instance where this was considered a filing position.
Great, thank you. This is the last question that is in the chat. So if you have further questions, please add them now. But the question is, can you clarify the responsibility of the LGE when violations for non-submission of FDS occur?
Sure. So I can speak a little bit to the process on that end. The statutory filing deadline is April 30th. Usually in the week following the statutory filing deadline, a general reminder will go out to all LGE reps, asking them to just remind individuals that the deadline, there's a deadline to file has passed, and check the roster, make sure people have filed. Approximately 2 weeks after that, a more specific email will go out with the name of any individuals on that roster who are not recorded as having filed. We'll go to each local government entity rep, and the LGE rep is asked specifically to contact those individuals to remind them they have to file, or to check them against the general local finance notice, just to check and see, make sure that they're serving in positions that are required to file, and just give it once over again. Then at the, in that same email with the specific names, the board asks that the local government entity reps provide the home mailing address of the individuals who are currently not recorded as having filed, so that should they continue to not have completed their filing requirement, the board can reach out to those individuals directly when the notice of violation is acted upon by the board. So it's relaying information to the local government entity reps through that enforcement process. There may be situations later on where, when the notice of violation is issued, if an individual seeks to request an administrative hearing and claims that there was some miscommunication on the behalf of the entity rep and the board, that some additional information be provided to the board on it. Sometimes we see that in the form of including individuals on a roster who weren't actively serving the municipality or the county at the time, or something to that effect. That might be a situation where the LGE rep would have to provide some commentary to the board, but mostly it's in the information gathering and distribution that the primary duties of the LGE rep.
Great, thank you. The last question we have is, would the purchasing agent who assists the QPA need to file?
According to the rule, it's just the qualified purchasing agent, or as we referenced earlier, an individual who's essentially serving in that capacity in an acting status.
Wonderful, thank you very much. That concludes all of the questions in the chat right now. So absent that, I think you have thoroughly answered all of the questions that have been provided. So if you want to provide some final comments before we conclude.
Yeah, we can kind of vamp just a little bit, just in case somebody is just thinking of a question now. But Sheree, would you like to go first?
So this, again, like I said before, I am definitely, an open outlet to you guys regarding, if you have any questions or, need any support. Of course, sometimes, when we're doing, when we're working on the NOVs, it might feel a little much. Just know that we're just trying to get to the end game, just like you guys, and get everybody filed. We're really proud of our work last year. You guys were very, very helpful. And we closed out our year, I think, with out of 38,000 filers, we only had like 400 left on our list that did not comply. And that is due to you guys. We're really thankful to have you guys, and hope that we can bring that number even lower this year.
Yeah, we are ready and available to help. The telephone numbers to reach the board, or the telephone number rather, is in the local finance notice, is at the end of the notice. But should anyone not have that in front of them, the number is 609-815-3904. And then we're also available on email, via email, and that's at lfb_fds@dca.nj.gov. But that, like I said, those numbers are available in the local finance notices that are going out, and we're always able and available and enthusiastic to help out.
All right, well, barring any last minute questions, I'll throw it to the floor. Looks like everyone can get an early lunch in here.
Hopefully
We've
with
done-
condensed learning.
Okay. Well, we've done all the learning. Now it's time for the luncheon, I suppose. All right. Well, Nick, Cherie, thank you both for joining us today. If anyone wants to come back and kind of review this or missed a comment or two, it will be posted on our website shortly as well. And obviously, you knew if you have need to reach out to the board itself, you know the number and the email as well. So with that, on this rainy Monday afternoon, I bid you all well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.